And the second speaker is our guest, Mr. Pasu Charusiri, PhD, from Department of Decorative Arts, Silpakorn University, Thailand. Please come forward.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Pasu. I'm from Silpakorn University, Thailand. It's my honor to be here. I'm not going to say I'm going to present my work, but I'm going to say that I'm going to talk about what I discover. And for this topic regarding to the well-being, first of all, if you search well-being, what is that? It's very long. It's like the health, related to the health, wellness, and also something that people feels, and it's like an ultimate goal of how to be healthy. It have many definitions of what is well-being is, but as this topic concern, this is diagrams that explain what is the well-being. Actually, it's related to 6 criteria. It's the mental, social, physical, community, financial, and work. By overlapping, by combining, by studying in these sectors, you can have or you can achieve the level of well-being. However, when we talk about art and design, how the art and design can make people feel and receive or deliver well-being. In my concern, we can do this. We can do something about mental, social, and also physical. And also, if we talk about health, everyone gonna think about food, including me. Of course, food is something that related to health. And when we have food, we have to think about packaging. And when we have packaging, okay, art and design comes as a part of to create something, giving them information. And at the end, people gonna get the perception. And that is the whole loop in my understanding of how design can improve or can involve in well-being. Then, today I want to talk about product infographic labeling on food packaging. It starts from the study. First of all, package. When we talk about packaging, they have 2 primary functions. The first one is to protect physical elements. And the second meaning of packaging or another agenda of packaging is to communicate. Look in deep down. This is the full diagram. Not full, just a part of the diagram that explains. I'm sorry about the texting, but however, packaging design is involved in 2 areas. The first area is for consumers. The other area is supplier. However, it's not just simply like that. It actually involved in many, many things. It's related to consumer behavior, perceptions, and also needs, and also sometimes it's commercial. Many areas about packaging, it can do many, many things. But this is the area that I focus. I'm only focused on the quality of product. When people believe or when people can understand the product quality, that's related to the health. And also, I have to study about consumer behavior when I'm doing design something. So that diagram on the bottom is how this project gonna relate to well-being. Another term that I would like to explain to you at this point is the planogram. Planogram is a fancy word. It's explained as the ways people navigate things. Defined as, this is actually planogram. It's not new things that when you say, hey, product shelf, where can you put the product and gonna get people interest, we're gonna think about what is level of an eyes, what is an eyes look at, and this is not new. Many studies already shows that if you place the product in front of you on the level of the eyesight, that product gonna be the best to be able to be sold, or it can promote the product by itself. However, on horizontal placement, it's different story. No one actually study on the product when it's laid down on the table before. And that is the loophole, or that is the area that I would like to talk about. So this is actually my first experiment. Let's see the first study on how people navigate through the horizontal placement, and I'm focused on food product packaging. And this testing I conduct with 12 people, use eye tracking device to study how can they move their eyes or what is human behavior regarding to selecting the products. And as a result, there is no pattern. That means these diagrams explain the way people gathering through the whole placement area, and we cannot find the significant pathway or significant placement of the product. On the other hand, it means when the product placed on horizontal placement, the product rely on itself. Rely on itself, people are going to look at the product and see only the tag, and then the product itself. Okay, next question, what is on the tags? This study is conducted in Japan, so it's a law of Japan to have this kind of information. And this diagram explains product must have product types, name, description, price, expiration date, product origin, distributor, promotion, and how its sustainability approach in that label. However, as a designer, we cannot control on product origin, product distributor, but we can control on the ways product name and product description could be explained. I did this. I add something, I add some more label to say that kanji or that Chinese character in the black, it just say beef. Why adding beef into beef product? People believe that doing that gonna make them be able to understand the product better, or it can promote that product better than without the word beef. On the other hand, I'm testing on something like the orientation of the packaging itself. Rather than use the horizontal placement of the package, I tilt it up to be like vertical placement and test what is the perception can change or how people are gonna feel about this product differently. Of course, I have some data. But the most crucial thing is like when I believe people want to see everything before they buy. For the first one, top right one, I decrease the size of the tag label to be only half size of it. And I decide to show the whole piece of steak inside of the packaging. And I believe that that way, people are going to see the whole thing and believe or understand that this product is the best because they can discover everything in that package. Second sample is the regular product. And the third sample is the product with some graphics on the label. I did that and I found out that graphic is maybe one of the key elements that I can promote the product by itself. It's not news. Infographic is started in 1970 in New York in the newspaper. That's first origin of infographic. So it's come to my hypothesis. The first one is I believe that horizontal placement have no pattern. Also, an extra extrinsic cue or some another information can promote the product itself. Thirdly, infographic may be one of the key elements that can improve when people look at the product. Lastly, colors is make different rather than only black and white. That is my first set of data that I would like to prove. And then I go deep down into how can we promote the product quality and through how. What is the things that consumer or buyer needs to be seen, or what gonna make them believe that our product is better than the other one. Methodology, the process that I'm proving my theory. I look at the normal package and I come up with an alternative design that testing my hypothesis. First one, when you look at certain area, the area divided by the tag itself, the label itself, it creates area within the shape. So I'm looking at the space and I feel like in each of the placement, or how can we study about the shape and find out the perfect area for the label, or how can we manage the area. Also, it's not just about the area. This is again not new, but we understand the beauty, the golden ratio. When we talk about the area, the zone, yeah, you cannot get away with the ratio that we're gonna use. So I combine two of this and come up with the first sample that I would like to test. This is regular product. This is everyday things that you can see in every supermarket. And then how to make it better. I decide to create another label that I use golden ratio with the infographic to testing that by this approach, is that gonna be better than regular one? Not stop at this point. As I mentioned, I living in Japan for a couple years. So one of the ratio that important for Japanese people is the silver ratio. Silver ratio means exactly like this. When you place something at the middle and leave the space on the left and the right, I use this to test that, how about this ratio, is that gonna work? Next, when you talk about golden ratio, they have 70% and 30%. This is the way to use the 70% of the ratio to create the label. And lastly, I'm strongly believe that, how about the whole thing that come in graphics? Is that gonna work? People know things, but how is that gonna affect when you look at the product? To test this object is not just only by one certain types of the protein, but I create 3 types of the protein by use the same techniques to prove my theory. Many of people gonna ask, but why we need to have this kind of fresh meat packaging? I can give you some clue because when I live in Japan, I cannot read Japanese, I cannot read Chinese, I only read English. When I go to supermarket and then you see some piece of meat, you don't know what is it, right? Because you cannot read. And sometimes when you chop up the whole things to be like a little piece, the quality of that thing is gone. If you see the fish, of course, you see the whole fish, you know what that fish is, and you know exactly what you're gonna get. But when you get to the meat, some part is more complicated. So I believe that by knowing some information about what you're gonna get, using infographics, maybe that's the key. And that is the why I use fresh cut meat product without branding to be a testing subject. The test try to prove in 7 categories area, including design aspect, reliability aspect, recognition aspect, product value, product attractive, personal satisfaction, and also communication ability. By combining these 7 criteria, I believe that is related to product quality. Throughout the experiment, I asked 300 people to get into the test and evaluate like this kind of test to see the actual things, and then they give scores, what they feels like. And not just only in one language, I use 3 languages, including Japanese, Japanese, Chinese, English, and also Thai. And I send it throughout the whole world, and I get the feedback from them. Also, the other test that I conduct, I use eyes tracking device to do the study by 30 people. The way it is like I ask them to pretend that you look at the product and study how they actually look at the product and come to the results. Forget about the number. I just go to summary. I'm gonna tell you the TB one. The second one that use golden ratio achieve the highest in every score of subject testing. I mean in all 7 categories. This TB, again TB is the golden ratio one, received the highest score from 330 participants. That proves something. That proves that, okay, by doing this, I can promote the product quality throughout this kind of the design. And it's not just only this. I prove one thing, I want to prove another things. And this is just demonstrate the eyes tracking device. When the data collect, they're gonna see where actually people looking at. By study the information on this device, I can understand another ratio that explain how much people spend times on the product and how much times people spend on the label. This study shows that on the TB sample, when the time is equally, mean I look at the product about the same time as I look at the label, is the best for them to make the decisions. And once again, compared to the right one that have only infographic, people spend much more time on the label than the product itself. On the left-hand side, the regular label, people spend much more time on the product rather than the label. However, the design on the middle is show about the same amount of time that people see the product and see the label. So that is another find out that you need to achieve this kind of ratio time consumption to get the product works better. How about without product? Same theory, but I use another kind of package, like without product at all. I just look at the whole thing as the area, and I use the placement of the new design to test, and it's pretty much the same. By equipped or by using the golden ratio methods to place the label can have the highest score on every criteria. I mentioned about the color, so this is the color. At some point, I'm studying on alternative option of how colors affect people decision making. So my hypothesis, of course, when I look at the sample that I make and I feel like the black one with the gold print gonna make everything much better than the regular one. It's look fancy, it's look like it's high value in price. So I test it with the same amount of people from 100 people. Surprisingly, the device is not working now. Good? Yeah, it's not working. Sorry. When you look at this, I found out that actually the white colors on food labels still have the highest rank score rating. We cannot change the colors. Color means something, but at the end, white still represent the best for them. They still believe white should go with the food product. Other than that, the colors may look more fancy, but it's not going to help if we concern about quality, health consumption, and health value still using white. That's what I figure about this experiment. Come to the conclusion, what I found out about my research whole team things. First of all, the ways you create label, the ways to use infographic within the food product labels does really make difference. It make a difference when you increase them, provide them some information, it makes some change. It can be increased reliability, it increase design recognizability, is also increase the value, is also increase the possibility to communicate the information by use infographic. Its ratio, proportion matter. When you place the label on, you must understand how is that affect people visualizability, which related to their perception. It decrease consumption time of the product, which means when they see more information, they make decision faster. By doing that, the possibility to sell the product or the possibility to save food product is much more because they spend less time to make decision. It also means white is not just only not affect the product, but it's also work-based regarding to food product. Infographic is not just only give information of the product, but it enhance and is lift up the quality of the product too. But only infographic with the label is not that way of working. They have to work together, the product itself and infographic have to work together. We cannot use one of each to work. Lastly, we found out that infographic and provide information like this kind of label design really can affect the food industries. And we go to the end of my conclusion about this talk. I found out by providing the right information on the right color at the right place can make a lot different regarding to fresh food product. And thank you so much for your attention. That is my presentation.
Ya, silakan berikan tepuk tangan untuk Pak Su. Riset yang menarik, boleh saya sedikit memberikan summary untuk apa yang baru saja disampaikan. Riset yang dilakukan oleh Pak Su berkaitan dengan implementasi desain di dalam produk-produk yang kita bisa temui di supermarket, dan ternyata desain punya dampak yang sangat signifikan di dalam membantu customer untuk menentukan preferensi produk yang akan dibeli. Dan salah satunya adalah dengan penambahan desain, dengan implementasi desain pada label kemasan, itu bisa meningkatkan sampai 68,5%, dengan tambahan infografis bisa meningkatkan penjualan sampai 68,5%, dan juga terbukti mempercepat pemilihan preferensi memilih produk yang akan dibeli. Ya, dan tadi sudah dilakukan risetnya dilakukan dengan melakukan survei terhadap beberapa produk dengan dilakukan kepada 300 orang dari berbagai usia dan berbagai latar belakang budaya, dan kemudian dilakukan juga melalui eye tracking equipment untuk melihat sejauh apa orang melihat produk itu, dan sampailah pada kesimpulan bahwa ternyata menambah infografis pada kemasan itu meningkatkan penjualan, mempersingkat waktu memilih produk, dan juga dengan merancang sesuai dengan golden scale gitu ya, dengan proporsi yang mengikuti golden scale, itu ternyata membuat orang cenderung untuk memilih produk tersebut. Dan memberi dasar warna putih, ternyata warna putih biasanya orang berpikir bahwa warna yang lebih eye catching itu akan membuat orang memilih produk itu dengan lebih mudah, tapi ternyata justru warna putih adalah warna yang paling efisien untuk menyampaikan produk tersebut. Ya, sekali lagi kita berikan tepuk tangan untuk Pak Su. We have already given during the pandemic, the COVID pandemic forced the school, the Angklung school, to stop operating, and when there's no tourists, there's no income, and in order to survive, they need to do something extraordinary. They try to their best to do the digital transformation, and during the digital transformation, they built an innovative culture by promoting the Angklung School through social media, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and the last during the last year, this TikTok become one of the most influenced strategy to promote the Angklung School, and because the TikTok engage very much with the audience, and as the result, in 2023, and the tourists will increase number of tourists coming to the Angklung School, and almost the same with before the pandemic COVID, right? Yeah, higher than before the pandemic COVID, and also it give an efficiency in human resources. Okay, please give another applause to Pak Satria. Baik, sekarang kita waktunya ke diskusi. Mungkin ada pertanyaan, saya berikan sesi pertanyaan untuk 2 penanya. Ada pertanyaan? Oke, Ibu Maya, satu lagi, ya dari sana. Baik, silakan Ibu Maya dulu.
Oke, terima kasih untuk kesempatannya. Perkenalkan, nama saya Maya Malinda dari Fakultas Hukum dan Bisnis Digital. Ya, secara khusus mungkin saya bertanya sama Bapak yang memaparkan tentang saung ujo ya. Ini sejak kecil saya sering dengar, termasuk juga waktu SMA belajar angklung, dan itu juga yang membuat artinya kita memahami mengenai budaya lokal. Nah, terkait dengan sebenarnya ada isu bahwa saung ujo terjadi perpecahan atau saung ujo juga sempat mau tutup gitu, itu juga sempat terdengar gitu. Nah, dengan model tadi yang Bapak tawarkan terkait dengan transformasi digital gitu ya, apakah isu itu sebenarnya sudah beres atau belum? Atau sekarang sebenarnya masih ada lagi gitu? Ya, itu aja sih dari saya. Oke, mungkin yang lainnya sih silakan mungkin yang lain. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih Bu Maya. Silakan Pak, langsung.
Terima kasih Bu Maya. Nah, sebetulnya isu itu yang menarik Bu, menjadi kajian-kajian khusus bersama teman-teman universitas Bu. Dan mudah-mudahan juga karena isu itu teman-teman di Maranatha pun juga berkenan Bu untuk membuat kajian bersama. Yang pertama isu perpecahan dalam konteks family business. Nah, ini kami sedang melakukan penelitian bersama Unpad karena Pak Ujo ini putranya 10 Bu. Pak Ujo itu putranya 10-10-nya itu seniman Bu. Biasa kalau orang seniman terlalu banyak seninya suka seniwan Bu. Jadi kadang-kadang ketika dikelola family business, problemnya itu bukan masalah untung rugi, tapi ada eksistensi gitu ya, ada hal-hal lain yang susah untuk dikelola. Nah, tapi di sisi lain ternyata konflik yang terjadi apabila dikelola dengan baik itu ternyata menjadi daya tahan organisasi Bu. Jadi penelitiannya masih dilakukan oleh teman-teman Unpad dari humaniora Pak. Kesimpulan sementaranya itu organisasi keluarga dalam lingkungan seni yang lebih banyak bertahan sampai sekarang adalah organisasi yang sering pasea Bu. Yang sering berdebat begitu. Jadi ternyata ada korelasinya dengan daya tahan. Memang yang kami rasakan di organisasi kami itu karena konflik tidak ada kekuatan dominan. Sehingga akhirnya ketika ada perubahan yang sangat drastis itu cenderung organisasi ini lebih berhati-hati. Nah, yang kedua perubahan ini juga menyadarkan organisasi bahwa diperlukan ilmu yang lebih baru, diperlukan cara pandang bisnis yang lebih baru agar si bisnis ini bisa sustain. Karena keluarga Saung Angklung Ujo mulai menyadari bahwa sekarang ini bukan hanya sebatas keluarga. Angklung, Saung Angklung Ujo sudah dalam tanda kutip menjadi warisan milik masyarakat dunia. Nah, sehingga isu yang menarik ini, keluarga ini sekarang sedang belajar Bu, bertransformasi agar Saung Angklung Ujo dari perusahaan keluarga ini bisa IPO. Bagaimana bisa menjadi global company. Nah, di satu sisi ya permasalahan itu ketika diiringi dengan pemahaman penelitian mudah-mudahan akan menjadi hal-hal yang lebih baik. Itu kurang lebih Bu yang dapat kami sampaikan. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih Pak Satria. Oke, penanya kedua silakan.
Perkenalkan, saya Steven dari Fakultas Humaniora dan Industri Kreatif. Izinkan saya bertanya kepada Dr. Monica berkenaan dengan digitalisasi medis. Sesuai yang dikatakan Dr. Monica, kita semua berada di zaman yang canggih dan serba cepat. Sehingga dibutuhkan pengetahuan akan teknologi bagi sumber daya manusia untuk menyempurnakan sistem digitalisasi medis. Untuk itu pertanyaan saya adalah, di masa depan, apakah layanan medis akan mengorbankan beberapa orang demi orang lain, yaitu dengan memprioritaskan orang-orang yang mengerti teknologi dan mampu secara ekonomi daripada orang-orang yang ketinggalan teknologi dan kekurangan ekonomi? Terima kasih.
Oke, terima kasih atas pertanyaannya. Memang yang kita ketahui bahwa susah ya buat untuk membiasakan dengan pola yang sudah lama, kemudian kita jebret ganti dengan pola yang langsung digitalisasi, itu memang susah. Tapi yang harus diingat adalah pendidikan kedokteran itu berbeda dengan yang lainnya. Maksudnya gini, semakin senior dokter itu biasanya pengalamannya jauh lebih besar. Jadi mau tidak mau kita juga harus memfasilitasi dengan membantu, istilahnya seperti itu. Jadi harus tetap dibantu, bukan berarti kita bisa langsung replace full, tidak bisa. Dengan kita makanya kita di rumah sakit juga itu tetap melakukan beberapa training untuk orang-orang yang ketinggalan ini. Seperti itu sih sebenarnya, Pak.
Bertahap jadi Bu ya.
Bertahap, tidak bisa langsung ganti semua, replacement nggak bisa gitu. Walaupun memang pada akhirnya contoh yang paling sederhana dari registrasi online yang biasanya kita harus datang ketemu register orang, itu sekarang bisa mandiri menggunakan mesin. Walaupun ada beberapa job desk yang nantinya bisa tergantikan dengan mesin. Tapi untuk pelayanan itu kita tidak bisa seperti itu. Jadi memang harus bertahap. Mau tidak mau, saya juga sebagai pelayanan medis di Rumah Sakit Unggul Karsa Medika, saya juga harus mempersiapkan nih, dokter saya butuh apa. Seperti itu sih, Pak.
Baik, terima kasih Dok. Terima kasih. Saya tanya dulu ke panitia, apakah masih ada kesempatan buat 2 penanya lagi? 1 penanya saja. Oke, baik. Mungkin ada 1 penanya? Baik, silakan. Silakan Pak, memperkenalkan diri.
Okay, good evening for everyone. My name is Muksin. I'm from the Chungren San Isi Xiao atau SMA Harapan Kasih. I have a question for the 3 presenter in this room. I think the transformation of the digital is talk about the generation. That is my opinion. And the question is, how about your opinion? Is that true? The digital transformation is about the generation. Thank you very much.
Okay. Is the digital transformation is about generation, or it can be cross generation? Yeah. Is it tied to the generation, or it can be do cross generation perhaps? Okay. Apakah bisa lintas?
I'm gonna answer, but in my own way.
Okay.
Transformation of generation and digital transformation. For example, my parents, 20 years older than me right now, 65 and 75. Before that time, they don't have iPhone, but now both of them use iPhone. When they use iPhone, they have to see graphics on the phone. That's mean, of course, technology cross from generation to generation. The ways my nephew used the phone and the ways my parents use the phone, different. More effective when even my student use the phone to do everything. Right now, I use the phone just only for communicate and do something. My parents maybe use the phone for just communicate only. So it's the needs of the use. If you need it, yes, you have to learn how to be able to understand it. But if you don't have the needs to use it, you just not cross anything. My parents don't play TikTok, but they answer the lines. Yeah, that is my answer. If yes and no.
Okay, thank you. Ibu?
Ya, oke, terima kasih. Jadi seperti yang sudah saya sampaikan sebelumnya bahwa mau tidak mau, suka tidak suka, kita harus belajar dan mengikuti perkembangan. Karena kalau kita tidak mengikuti perkembangan, kita pasti akan tertinggal. akan stagnan di perkembangan ini. Sementara di dunia luar, di luar Indonesia perkembangan robotik itu sangat canggih. Kalau kita hanya stagnan gitu saja, aduh berat juga gitu. Itu sih kalau dari saya Pak.
Ya, silakan Pak Satria.
Nah, saya hanya sedikit menambahkan Pak bahwa dalam konteks transformasi digital, dalam hemat saya, itu tidak memandang usia. Tapi seperti tadi ditekankan, memandang kebutuhan dan keinginan masing-masing individu. Saya dengan orang tua saya lebih muda saya Pak, tapi orang tua saya lebih jago main Facebook dan TikTok Pak. Karena sekarang sudah pensiunan, banyak spare time gitu ya, mulai mengolah dan akhirnya malah mendapat manfaat dari itu. Orang tua saya pensiunan dosen Pak, jadi sekarang mengajarnya via TikTok. Yang saya pun juga, waduh. Ya. Nah itu hanya sebagai contoh saja sih Pak.
Ya.
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih Pak. Ya, luar biasa ya, mengajarnya lewat TikTok ya. Jadi generasi sekarang itu memang generasinya TikTok ya, karena kalau anak-anak zaman sekarang itu kalau ditanya soal Instagram, mereka bilang itu mainannya emak-emak katanya. Ya. Oke, baik. Terima kasih untuk jawabannya. Kita berikan aplaus untuk ketiga presenter. Ya, saya kembalikan ke panitia.
Terima kasih kepada Bapak Krismanto dan seluruh narasumber hari ini. Kami yakin pengetahuan yang disampaikan hari ini dapat bermanfaat bagi kita semua. Sebagai bentuk apresiasi, kami akan memberikan cenderamata dan sertifikat kepada moderator dan para narasumber. Kami mengundang Mr. Kang Tsengguo, selaku Direktur Tiongkok PBM Universitas Kristen Maranatha untuk dapat menyampaikan. Kami persilakan.
感谢 Krismanto 先生和所有主讲人，相信大家今天都能有所受益。作为答谢，我们呢将为主讲人和主持人和主讲人赠送纪念品和义证书。我们有请马拉纳达基督教大学孔子学院中方院长康振国先生赠送纪念品、义证书。